What is up, you guys? What is up? What is up? Welcome back to the channel. Give me just a few more quick seconds to get everything set up and we'll get ready and start the stream. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. I'm so glad to see you again. We are going to jump back into repairing this FLuke 23 meter for a buddy of mine. Please excuse the giant mess all over the desk. I will clean some of this up real quick. All right. So I've got all these cords on the desk and I apologize for them. I really do. The reason that they are all over the desk is because I got my longer cables in for my microscope and my little movable camera and everything else. And I just haven't had a chance to clean it up yet. So I apologize for that. We're going to, sorry, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn all about how getting all this set up for OBS and all that works. So when we left the last video, we'd actually made a bit of progress. Not a huge, massive amount, but we've made a bit of progress. The spring has fallen off. You can just stick that in the ultrasonic cleaner, that's for sure. And the progress that we had made was, let me switch over here also while I'm here and I'm talking about it. So I don't know, it's not really showing up on screen for you guys, but last time when I left this, we were not just getting a bunch of numbers on it like this. We were actually getting some readings. So yeah, I don't quite know what the deal is with that, but I am a little bit concerned. See, it takes it just a second to power up, so I'm a little bit concerned that it might be the chip, if you guys remember that. So I want to look at a couple of things. I want to look at the switch right here. I want to take a good close look at this guy under the microscope, and I definitely want to take a good close look at the chip and see if we can't fix that one leg that was wonky, and if doing that doesn't bring this thing back to life. We're gonna resume normal console repairs very soon, I promise. Sorry about that. Very soon. Just I gotta finish this guy right here up for the buddy of mine before we can proceed on. So first thing that I want to do is back this guy off a little bit. And I want to take a closer look at this switch, because I'm not sure if it is I don't know if it's fully functional the way that I really want it to be. So you guys bear with me, because I'm doing this. When I do this with this particular view, all I get on my screen is just a black screen right here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's all I get. So I'm having to kind of look over my shoulder. These carbon contacts down here definitely use some good old-fashioned cleaning. I don't think they're completely ruined. We need like we need something to get down in there. I may end up pulling this whole switch just so I can get down to those contacts a little bit better. My concern with this switch is that it is not perhaps aligned properly and making correct contacts. I'm not, again, don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% on that, but we've got, you can kind of see right in here, we've got multiple layers to this. And as it comes across, it's going to make contact with different wipers. And as it makes those contacts with the different wipers, it changes the function of the switch. So what we've got is we've got these upper wipers up here, and then we've got lower wipers down here, all right? The switch does have a little bit of play in it. Nothing that I would consider huge. Some deoxit might not kill me if I had any, which I do not, so, you know, hey, it is what it is. So what we're going to try is really, see the movement in this guy? I don't know, I'm sure it's fine. What I do want to do is I want to pop out the fuse. Not that I really need to, but I want to. And I want to take a look at this chip again. And the one particular leg that I want to take a look at is number 14 right here with this missing section, and you can see the pin is gone. If you guys remember that from our last video. The rest of these, see, there's no trace. There's no trace. Here's what you have to look for, guys. Okay, so when you're looking at a chip and you come across a missing leg like this, okay, and it's got a missing leg. It's like cut or bent or something like that, but there is no actual trace coming to that leg. So then that explains why that leg it's not being used, okay? So like this trace here, obviously we're coming up and this one's coming over. All that stuff's good and great, right? All of these legs. Let me tune that image up just a little bit. Same thing again here with this one. There is no trace here for this leg to connect to. So even if it was here, it wouldn't go anywhere. It wouldn't do anything, right? Now when you look at this one, okay, it does have a trace, but if you guys, if I can tilt this up, so this one is broken, this one and this one. This is the one that continues underneath the board. This one, we haven't traced him out yet, but I guess we can. I swear I'm going to stop for a second and focus this thing. So this comes to this component, whatever this is right here, directly off the corner of this board, which would be well, I already did that. Which comes to here, which you guys can't see from where you're at. but it actually connects to, let me flip over here. So it actually, this is him right here. This is our little component that we're dealing with right here, okay, this guy. So he actually comes through the board and connects right here on this pin. All right, now I don't know what that component does off the top of my head. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does. But that's where it comes to. So, sorry, back to what we're doing. So when we're walking around a chip right here and we see, you know, a missing leg that is also a missing, the pin's been cut off of it, that is not in use, okay? So like this one right here comes out and it dies right here, okay? If you can tell, this particular leg comes out and it doesn't go anywhere. This one does not have a trace, okay? And this one comes down and jumpers across to this leg, but if we tilt that up and I focus it, so while it comes across in jumpers, neither this leg nor this leg, so I can shove my tweezers underneath it, actually make contact with that chip. The one that I'm most worried about, though, is 14. Okay? Now, I know it's 14. This is 15 in this corner. This opposite corner shows 1. So this would be pin 15 here. That'd be 15. This would be 30. This would be 45. And this would be 60. Okay? But we're dealing with pin 14, wire 14. So what I want to do is I want to flip over, if I can, real quick to my screen capture and see if I can't find where 14 is going. So, okay. So right here, in this little section right in here, okay, I've got trace 14. Now, that we know is incorrect, and we know that because this is 2 right here, and then this down here shows 2. But if we're slick about the way that we read this schematic, like we can find one that goes to test point 2. If I can look on the board, okay, let me find, there's test point 1. So let's do it this way. It's test point 1. I saw test point 1 on here the other day when we were looking at this. While I'm digging around, I want to also take just a quick second and explain. So I've had some things change lately in the world in which I live in, which, you know, life is what it is. But I've had some problems, some things come up and change, and so I was gonna get right back into streaming real fast and all that good stuff, and then some other things happened, and it kind of knocked my schedule off a little bit. So I'm presently looking at how I can get around my schedule to where I can get back to streaming regular. As it looks like right now, it looks like I might be able to squeeze one short stream in during the week on a weeknight, and then maybe a good decent one in like on a Sunday or maybe a Saturday. That could also be a possibility. So we're going to look at that. All right. So back to what I was doing. So what I've got here, all right, is this is 14. This is 15. Okay. So trace 14 off of our chip, okay? Because these labels are incorrect. Okay, well, when I say incorrect, the layout here does not match the actual layout of our chip, okay? When we see this guy right here, it doesn't actually match what lays out. However, what does lay out is the actual trace numbers. Now, I know that this seems a little bit backwards, but this is the way that I'm reading it, so bear with me. we're going to do some things to verify. Excuse me. So we know that this is a 60 pin chip. We know because, again, we can come up here to, come here, 1. We know this is 15. If I count these guys, I get 15. If that's 15, then that means this bottom pin down here is 30, which means this is 31, which means this is 45, 46, all the way up to 60. So once we know that, what we can do is we can take something we know, okay? So for instance, what we have here is 15, right? 15 and 22 are tied together with a resistor, and it's a 44.8 kilo ohm, 25% resistor that we've got right here. Now, if I go on my board, oh, you know what? You guys didn't see any of that. I didn't hit the button. Need to buy a stream deck, I guess. Okay, sorry. So what I've got is 15 right here, okay? Now 15, according to our schematic, lays out, and we do have a pin 60 here as well, but pin 15 ties together, okay, with a resistor 13, which is a 44.8 kilo ohm, 0.25%, blah, blah, blah. We don't care about all of that. What we do know is that they do tie together via a resistor, and then they go out from there. So what we can do to verify a few things is we can come over here and we can find pin 15, which we've got right here. Now, if you see this little point right here, so if we flip this board over, that would be right there in this ground point, which is exactly what our board, let me transition back over and show this guy. So it is showing pin 15 does go to ground directly, but there is a resistor between 22 and the tie-in point for 15. So now what we've got to do is we know where 15 is, okay? Let me switch back over to where you guys can see what I'm doing. What we're doing is verifying that our schematic matches our board, okay? So 15 comes out, but it also continues on up this way. And 15 comes over here and up here and all of this all the way up here to, come on, right here to our switch, okay? That's one leg. Now that would make sense. That would make sense. I hate these stupid chat messages. Like, Jesus, dude, come on, man. Seriously, I really wish. Is there a way to ban this guy? No. I hate these stupid things. Anyway, sorry. So, yeah. So, pin 15 comes here. Now, we also know, coming back down here to 15, okay, it branches right here, and it hits this guy. And if we trace him all the way back up, is this the one I was just tracing? Yes. Branches off from there. Never mind. Okay. So we come back down here to 15. Okay. And we follow the straight trace. And we're going to come all the way up. We're going to pick up this component here. And we're going to keep zigging around until we wind up here to this little guy. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I'm keeping my finger right here on this little component right here, okay? I'm keeping my finger on him, okay? I don't want to lose that. What I want to do is I want to come back down here to my chip, and I want to count 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 comes over, comes down, and what do we have? So I'll bet you dollars to donuts, either from here to here, okay, or from here to here. I'm not sure which. We'll know in a second. I'd be willing to bet you we've got a resistor right here. So what we're going to do is flip this over. We absolutely do. And let me switch over to this camera so you guys can see what I'm doing here. So what I've done is I've followed 22 down here to this component. Okay, I don't know how good your shot is. But we follow him down here to this particular component. Hold on, I lost it. Right here, this guy. And he jumps across. So if I put my finger there and I flip it over, and it takes a little bit of flipping back and forth, but we definitely have a resistor here. Now, I will tell you a neat little trick that I learned years ago. And that neat little trick is, where are you? To hold it up to the light. Yeah, that's him right there. Perfect. Okay, so when you hold this board up to the light, and this doesn't work for every board, but especially for your older boards, this generally works really well. If you hold it up to the lights, you can see through the board and see where you're going. So what I found out is we are actually 22 does come down, as our board states, to this resistor right here, this guy right beside this fuse. Now, I want to look underneath. It is this resistor right here, this one, right beside our fuse. So I want to look, if I can, at our, I don't see any obvious signs of corrosion. I could put a meter across it and check the resistance, I guess. Guess I could do that since I'm here. I don't know that I can though. I don't know that I'm skilled enough to get in there, but we're going to try it anyway. So we can definitely get that one. And I'm attempting to get this one. Let's see what we've got. Meter calls out 40. And what were we supposed to have? If memory serves, we're supposed to have 44.8 kilo ohms. And what we actually have, and let me drag the meter down here and put it on screen so you guys can see it. So, let me switch over there. Let me cue this guy up, and I'll prop him up a little bit at an angle so you guys can see. So, coming back to our probes, this guy and this guy. It's a lot of hands to work, by the way. Okay. Wait. I really got to get a Stream Deck or something that can push these back and just quick push buttons. So we're showing 40.7778, give or take. Now, that's going to read a little bit low because it's currently in series, okay? It's currently on the board. It's going to read just a shade off, but for my money, that's pretty close. So I know that so far our schematic is telling us correctly. This ties together with 15 to ground. So if we flip back over to the bottom of our board, which we were right here. This guy right here, okay? And we are definitely tying to this, okay? So what we can do, let me pivot this guy around here a little bit. Let's go over here. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear my meter, but I'm going to try. Let's go to a known ground plane. No, that is not a ground. Not even a little bit. Theoretically, we could go to this guy maybe? So, there you go. There you go. So we're coming from the other side of our resistor. And what I've done is brought it up here to test point 15. So we know they're linked together. So we went through all of that. We went through all of that specifically to double check that pin 22 does tie with pin 15 and go off to ground as what we thought. That's what we thought. That's what our board shows, which means 14, okay, goes in line with, so it looks like we come down off of 29, okay. We come down and we pick up a transistor, okay. What is that, an NPN? Yeah, anyway. And then we come on down. All right, let's see. Did that work at all? Let's see. All right, that seems to have worked. So we seem to be in good shape there. So the question is, how far away did I leave you guys? I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, whoops. So here's where we were. And I apologize about that. Apparently the batteries on my microphone died. I don't know why, probably because I'm stupid. So here's just for a recap if I missed you. So we double checked and made sure that 15 was tying together with 22. We did check that. That is correct. Which, if that is correct, then we know this is 15. We also know that our layout on our schematic, as far as the numbers and layout of this chip, is incorrect. But what it does tell us is that these lines right here, where it's calling 15, 22, 25, 24, 14, we do know that's correct. Now 14, it looks like it's tied together with an NPN, PNP transistor, which is looped back on itself, which is common anyway. As a signal, we might have a signal amplifier there. I'm not sure. At any rate, it's going to come on down. It's going to pick up resistor 15, and then 14 ties in on the back side of resistor 15, picks up resistor 16, then goes out to resistor 8. So what we're looking for is resistor 16. Ooh. So if we come up here on this, okay, so we know, let me rotate this around. So we know, first off, this is our board, not this version. We've got both fuses. We were just on 13 right here when we were checking this guy right here. Okay, so we were just on 13. Okay, so now we just have to jot around our board here until we find 15. 15 and 16 preferably. So we've got 14, 15, and 16 up just the top side of the chip or of the switch, which would put us 15, CR1, and 16. Does that all hit in line? Really? No. Okay. So 14 ties in between 15 and 16. According to our line drawing, we pick up the back side of 15, the output side of the resistor, and the input side of 16 is where 14, line 14 should tie, which would put us tying together either here or here, right? So what they're indicating on this is the input side, or sorry, the output side. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So on our microscope, that's the word I'm looking for. So the top side, let me transition over here just so you guys can see what I'm seeing. So we've got our switch. Okay, this is the top of our switch right here. Okay, and what we're showing is, aha. Okay. Let's flip back over. Let's transition back over. Okay. If we look at this little pocket right here, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm just saying 1, 2, 3, 14, 15, 16. If we transition our screen back over here, okay, what we've got is the same 1, 2, 3 components, 1, 2, 3 components. Beautiful. So we know now exactly where we're tying into, which is we're going to be 14 should be tying in right in here somewhere. Okay, should be theoretically. So what we can do now that we know that, now this is all to get us to a point, and I know I'm bouncing around a little bit about when am I going to stream and all that, but bear with me. There's a shiny penny over here, okay? I get easily distracted. So 15 and 16, you can see the trace, by the way. You can see the trace coming from 15 tying to 16, which is exactly what our schematic shows, which means 14 must tie to one of these, but I'm betting, this is 16, I'm betting it ties here or here, one or the other. But the good thing is when we flip this guy over, so we know we've got our potentiometer here, okay, because we've got our little potentiometer, right, this little guy right here, we know we've got him, and then we should be directly, we should be straight off this corner, which should put us right here, okay. Now that's not going to tie up this way. This is our potentiometer. 16 is going to jump across here. Now if we follow 16, we're so our pinout is correct on our board. Oh my God, that's terrible news, man. That is terrible news. And the reason that is terrible news is because, let me make sure I don't have a broken trace between here and there. The reason that is actually such terrible news for us is because yep. Let's see if I can switch him over to ohms. I just want to check between this resistor. I don't think it's going to give us anything. No, it's not. It's not willing to give us any. It's not going to give us anything on this side of it. So the reason that sucks so bad is because what that tells me is if we switch back over to our schematic, and I'll get him the right side up for us, is that 14 outputs 1 volt, okay? And it needs to be tied in order for, because we're tied back in, it's got to be, in order for our potentiometer to work, for one thing, okay, it's got to be tied in. And if our potentiometer doesn't work, then our switch isn't going to work. Holy crap, that sucks so bad. That absolutely sucks so very bad. Oh. So here's the problem. And let me switch over to the screen here. So I'm going to flip this up on its end. And we're going to tune in our picture real nice and crisp. So with this leg being broke off inside the chip, I need that desperately badly. I need it out of there. And if I can't get it out, if I can't tie anything to it, then the problem is, give me just 1 second. I'm going to text the wife and make sure she knows that I'm streaming. Okay, sorry about that. Back to it. I really have got to find a way to block all of these stupid bots. Yeah, so says she's pulling up now, at which point, just missed that. I definitely don't need that. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a short break, let them get in the house, let me switch over here, and I'll come back and I'll explain a little bit more detail about why this is actually a problem. Okay, so give me just 1 second. We'll switch this guy right here over, and I will see you guys here in just a few minutes. All right, guys, we are back. Sorry about that. So, back to where I was. So, what is the gigantic problem with this leg missing out of here? What that means is that I am going to have to nip into this chip very so slightly and attempt to solder a wire inside that hole without damaging it. And from the last video, if you guys remember, I showed you what's in the inside of this chip. Is a very small chip, and it's got a bunch of legs that run out to these legs from there. But when one is broken like this, see if I can get an even better view of it. Yeah, like that right there. Getting inside of that, first off, we can't. There's no way of us knowing how far the inside chip is. There's no way of us knowing if the wire is there. There's no way of us knowing any of that. What we can do, though, and what we can find out pretty quickly and easily, is if we switch back over to our schematic here, and we look at 14. So 14 is not tied to, like, if you look at these two, they're tied together. So would be, let me find something else. So these are tied together via 55 and 54 are tied together with a capacitor. There's test point 1 coming off of 8, by the way. Sorry, I couldn't find that earlier, but there it is. But since 14 is not linked together to anything here, except for possibly 29, the chances of us getting some sort of reading all the way from 29 through a transistor, through a bunch of resistors to 14 is slim to none. We're going to give it a shot. I doubt it's going to work, but we're going to give it a shot anyway and just see what we come up with. And you know, who knows? We might get exceptionally lucky. Maybe. I doubt it. The problem is getting this chip in place. So we're 15. What did I say we were? 29. So 35, 34, 30, 32, 31, 30, 29. This guy right here. We already traced 29 out. Was it 29? Look back over there. Was indeed 29. Yeah. Okay. So theoretically, if I turn this chip up on its edge, get it where we can all look at it together, and I'm probably going to have to prop something up so it doesn't fall over. Just give me a moment and I will sort something out. That looks perfect. So if I can get a probe to stick down in there, boy, I tell you what, this is going to be tough. There is no way that I have anything that small to get down in that hole. There's no way. I mean, I'm in there, but it's not doing any good at all. So what we're going to do is we are going to very gently attempt to open this guy up just a little bit. And there's a bunch of different ways we can do it. I'm going to start with doing something that you should never, ever, don't do this. Don't do what I am fixing to do. This is a terrible idea, but it's what I got right now. So it's what we're going with. What I'm going to attempt to do is move this guy over here out of my way. That is way too large. Let me try this one. That is way too large. Okay, 2 down, 2 options down. Let me try. Do I have any of these that are small enough? Of course not, and they're all covered in plastic, even if they were. Let's see here. Well, I need to think about this. Or I guess, I mean, theoretically, we could just kind of, you know, send it, see what happens. Theoretically. I guess we could, you know, you only live once, right? Tell you, what I need right now and what I have are 2 different things. I'll bet you dollars to donuts that is even too big. Yeah, maybe I might. What I'd really like to do is use my little, I've got a little hand drill over here. But the problem is I don't have a bit that is actually small enough to get into this little hole. What I need is something absolutely sub-micro in there. And that ain't gonna cut it. Maybe. Way too big. You know, it's you can always tell when you're in a bit of a pickle when you reach for a tool and it's a micro tool and it is way too large. Try to do it's just gently whittle this hole away. Try to flush it out some. I just want to get enough so that I can, if I could see anything, any hope of any sort of metallic, then I would hot air flow me a wire in there in a heartbeat. What do you think? Boy, that's just so hard to tell. That is just so hard to tell. If I've got it done good at all, and I cannot, I don't think I can, maybe I can, take that off. I can get in here close enough. Maybe I can get in here close enough. Just can't tell. Just absolutely cannot tell. Still nothing. Can't tell. I might be in it and I might not. I don't know. I want to say that I can see something, but I'm just not confident enough that I'm seeing anything. See, if it dries out. I will never, ever, 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 ever get anything to solder inside of that hole. There's no way. It's funny, it looks like that says 15 on it. It's the way it's been scratched, huh? You know what we could do? That is an entire possibility. And about the only reasonable thing that I can come up with that I might be lucky enough to pull off, maybe, is to stick some of my solder flux paste in there and heat it up and see if it'll give me a ball. It might give me a solder ball that I can grab a hold of, and if it does that, then I guess I'm back in the game. If it doesn't, then I guess I'm still out. But I at this point, I'm out of options. The only other option, the only thing for it is to buy another chip, which you can't buy. Can't get them. Let me just take some and see if I can't smash it down in there. That's horrible. Absolutely horrible. We're going to send it anyway. We're going to send it anyway. See what happens. Well, I was doing all that off cam anyway. You guys couldn't see it, so perfect. We're gonna do it anyway. What's the worst that can happen, huh? What I want to do is heat up to a very high level. I'm going to switch over to this guy. Yeah, I think that's good for us. We're going to crank the heat up, but we're going to drop our airflow down. I'm not trying to reflow the chip. I'm trying to get some of this solder flux to just heat up enough to drop down inside that hole. I don't need the world. I just need a little bit. Might have been a worthwhile effort. There is definitely 110% a little tiny solder ball inside of there, which might give me something to actually solder to. Maybe. Hello? Okay. I don't know what happened there, but something happened there. That was weird. Something has happened to the microscope. Did I hit it with something? I don't know. It is dead. I have killed it. Great. The one tool that I need is the tool that I no longer works. Perfect. Well. Crap. I've got another one of these stuffed in the closet. It really is, like, it is stuck. It's like it's frozen. It's really weird. I guess the only thing I can do now is to theoretically let the battery die, maybe? Or pull the battery. What it's got is a great big 18650 in it. Lucky us. Now, let's see if we can plug this guy back up and get him to turn back on for us and do the right thing. Let's see here. We can go down. Okay. So it is now saying it is back on camera. But it is not. But it says it is. Interesting. Okay. So, okay. It's fine. Be that way. Oh, that's the problem. The battery is dead. Let me see. See if I'd have just left this thing charging, we would be having this problem. This is really funny because it won't charge from this port. Which I find incredibly interesting. Okay, well, we'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way, and I'll just have to work where you guys can't. Nope, that ain't gonna work either, is it? No, I promise. I've got all of this stuff figured out. See? Got it all figured out. It's gonna be amazing. So, back to what I was looking at. Never mind all the tiny little solder balls everywhere. We'll fix those later. What I want to know is, which I doubt very seriously you guys can see that, but right there is the tiniest little solder ball sticking out. So what I'm going to attempt to do is solder a wire to that. then solder a wire down here, and then clean up 4 million little solder balls that are absolutely everywhere now. Bridges, absolutely everywhere. Oh well. We'll fix it. First things first, I'm gonna have to see if I can possibly get a little wire in here. And that means I'm gonna have to do this. You guys aren't really gonna be able to see too much, but what I'll try to do is bring this guy over down here a little bit. And I'm gonna try to prop this guy right here up just a little bit. Support him so that I can work. Right. The creative ways that we have to do things. See that little solder ball sticking out right there? This little guy right here. That's the one we're interested in. I'm gonna try to get this camera down just a little bit more for you guys too. It ain't perfect, but I guess, you know, we're making do. We're making do. So let me find some wire real quick. I need something really, you know what I need? I need some Kynar. Well, I don't know. Kynar wire is awfully a big pain. It's too big. Maybe I can make this work. All right, let's go ahead, fire up yield soldering station. Let's see. Let's use, this will be fine right here. Except for I'll bet you money this is too big. Let's see here. Way too big. Way too big. I mean, it'd be perfect if I could actually get it, but that is way too many strands. I don't know. Maybe I can find a way to burn it in. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm gonna chip quick it for sure. I'm gonna flux this and go ahead and pre-tin this guy, because if I don't, then we're definitely up a creek. Let me set up and tin this guy real quick. Normally I would use, normally I would not use Chip Quick for this. I would use my standard solder, but I need sticky. I need sticky. Problem is, Chip Quick is going to leave a residue, a mess. I'm gonna have to pull this guy up, max him out, and I guess here goes nothing. This is one of those repairs, by the way, that I seriously would not recommend anyone attempt ever. The chances of me getting this to work. Nope. Nope. Just too big. Chances of me getting this to work are so absolutely minutely small. It's almost not even worth discussing. I don't know that this level of repair can even be done. I've pulled off some really cool things. But we're talking about replacing a leg inside a chip, and the wire, to kind of rehash, the wire that's actually inside the chip that comes out here to this leg is literally like the wire that I'm working with here. This is, what size is this? This is 30 gauge. The wire that's inside of here is probably like a single strand that goes to the actual chip of this 30 gauge wire. So that would be approximately 50 gauge. We're talking, literally one strand of wire, and that's all there is to it. I don't know if I don't know that this can be done. And if it can, I don't know anybody that could. I might get lucky here. You never know. I mean, you might, when it comes to fooling with stuff like this, you can have all the skill in the world. You absolutely can, but at the end of the day, oh no. The gentlest tug ever. I think I had it. I think I may have had it. I don't know if you guys are noticing the strands on this toothbrush. The individual bristles are larger than the actual hole. I'm trying to actually get inside of solder to, and I just I don't know. I want to get a good look at my need this to be finer. Let me try something else. Let's try to cut this guy off. And then let me try to strip this out. About yay long. try to get just like 2 of these individual strands and twist them up. Would be really great. If I could just get a couple of them. Got them. Got them. So, let me slide this out of the way and show you what I'm actually looking for here. So that's the bundle of wire right there that comes out. What I want are 2 strands. 2 strands of that. What I'm going to attempt to do, now that I've got them, is I'm going to attempt to twist these guys up so that I can actually get them in the hole. I'm going to twist them up, I'm going to solder them together. If I can. I don't even know that I can do that. Oh. Oh. Okay. Now, clip all this junk right here off. What we're going to attempt to do is take our 2 little strands of wire that we now have twisted up. We don't have very good solder on the end of it. So let me see if I can put us, I'm not blasting solder back down in that hole. That was a good idea, but a poor execution at best. It bent right at the very end. I was attempting to do this.